Hi everybody, and welcome to Lost Genre Reddit Stories. I've got some awesome story picks for you today, but before we get started, I'd like to give a massive shout out to all of you that have supported me either by joining as a channel member, backing me on Patreon, and your kind donations during my live streams. And if this is the first time watching one of my videos and you like it, then consider subscribing to the channel and joining us on Discord. All the relevant links are in the description below. Now let's get started with today's stories. This post is from the subreddit Relationships and it's from user Revolutionary Exam 45. My girlfriend wants to take a stressful job and I foolishly set an ultimatum against it. We have been together for 7 years now. She, 28 female, has been thinking about taking a stressful job which will leave her with no time to do anything. We did that before when we were right out of college and we didn't have any money at all. It was hard. I, 27 male, was able to handle the soul-destroying nature of 60+ hours a week a bit better than her. She was a mess. She leaned a lot on me emotionally to get through it. She was close to burnout. She was starting to become unhealthy. She also had a habit of lashing out at me. She always apologized, but I didn't like being yelled at. Being yelled at F's me up, and those 3 years were the only time we got into yelling matches. It was without a doubt the worst years of my life. We had to move for my job, and she was able to get a much less stressful job and higher paid job. She became much more happier, a lot less annoyed, and we were able to patch our relationship out and grow closer. I told her if she took that job, I would have to think about where this relationship is going and if I can handle the emotional turmoil that comes with it. I realized that it was not the right thing to do, and I am a fool for letting my fears and panic take over and make a manipulative attempt to force her to not take the job. I am planning to apologize for this. I thought we had paid our dues and could try to climb the ladder slowly, try to build our life slowly. Get married and start a family. We have talked about this and she says she wants all the same things, but I don't know anymore. She wants to take a job which has really great pay and would set us up for great things. We are really comfortable right now, and even if she takes another less stressful job, it would not be a huge difference. She is promising me that she will handle it better this time. My emotional reaction is not to trust her on this. I know that is unfair, but she almost said the exact same words when we were in the bad patch after fights. But the thing is that if she doesn't, I don't think I will have the courage to leave her when she is struggling. I won't be able to deal with the guilt. I don't know why she is doing this. We are doing well. I know that she isn't a greedy or materialistic person. She loves her current workplace and culture. She has scope for promotions. She loves her work. It seems really odd that she wants to switch all of a sudden, especially to something which would be soul-destroying. When I asked her about it, she said it is the money. And I asked her if it is worth the money, she just shrugged and changed the topic. Someone pointed out that something may have happened at her current work. I really fear I have effed things up due to setting an ultimatum and hurt her feelings a lot. I feel like a crappy boyfriend. She was willing to move for me when she was reluctant to do it. She has pointed out that I am placing my career above hers and that I didn't get to dictate what she did with her career. Well, OP, your reaction is understandable, although not justified. And it's a good thing that you acknowledge the fact that giving an ultimatum was not cool at all. Now, with the information that you give us, the fact that your girlfriend wants to take a high stressful job that would maybe put her back in that same headspace that she was before when she was getting in screaming matches with you, that sounds a little bit out of character, so I'm thinking there's something bigger at play here. It could very well be that something happened at her workplace like you mentioned, or it could be something else. Maybe now that she's older, she's realized some other things and changed her opinion about it and wants to give it another shot. Maybe she's got something on her mind and that additional money will help her achieve that, and she hasn't shared it with you yet because she doesn't know how. I mean, we could speculate all day, but the fact is that something is happening and that she is keen on doing it. So I would say that once again, communication is the key to solve this situation. First of all, like you said, apologize for the ultimatum and take it back because, it's not cool. This will help her open up. and then have an honest conversation about what you guys want. Tell her what you're afraid of, tell her what you went through, maybe she forgot about it, I don't know, but talk to her and open up. And what do you guys think OP should do? What is your opinion? Now, let's move on with the community comments to see what kind of advice they gave OP. Automator 3000 says, "It doesn't seem like the problem here is that she's considering a stressful job. You don't mention anywhere that you're worried that her working long, hard hours will negatively impact your ability to be a couple, her ability to help out with housework, etc. Instead, what you're writing about is about being worried that if she takes a stressful job with long hours, you'll have a repeat of her using you as a punching bag when she's stressed out. In other words, your ultimatum wasn't, if you take this job, I'll need to rethink this relationship. Your ultimatum actually was, if you go back to verbally abusing me, I'll need to rethink this relationship." I.O. Stephanie says, "You were right to set an ultimatum, but you said it about the wrong things. Your real fear is that the job will damage your relationship because she will take out her stress on you. So you should communicate that instead. I am happy for you to take any job you want, but I don't want to go to how our relationship was when you were so stressed all the time. If this new job means we return to you lashing out at me due to stress, I will have to reconsider our relationship because that's not a healthy way for either of us to live." Comprehensive Band 586 says, "You can't dictate which job she takes, but you can decide for yourself what you cannot tolerate. If she starts lashing out at you again, wait until she calms down and then remind her that you won't tolerate being treated like that. Maybe she could do other things to de-stress if she doesn't go to therapy, like regular massages or something like that." Well, it seems like the community is really trying to help OP deal with his girlfriend once she gets this stressful job and starts lashing out at him. Whereas I believe that the whole confrontation could be avoided and the ultimatums also could be avoided if they have a proper conversation, setting everything on the table and working together in projecting their lives and see where the pitfalls are or which stops they have. But really, there's no point in speculating at this point because we have an update, so let's continue with that. I, 27 male, would like to thank everyone who took time to give me valuable advice. It helped me realize I was going about it the wrong way and possibly ruined a relationship of 7 years. Yesterday, we sat down and had a proper conversation. I apologized to her for lashing out with an ultimatum. I explained how scared I was of things sliding back. She, 28 female, was able to understand it, and she also pointed out how hurtful me setting down an ultimatum was. I talked about mapping out a plan so that we don't slide into the mess we had created. I think me being open to the idea of her working allowed her to be vulnerable and reveal why she wanted to chase money. She wants to put down roots in the city and buy a house here. She grew up in pretty unstable circumstances and moved around a lot. She is adamant that we own a house before we get married or have kids, and the home market here is booming. She also thought that it was a bit embarrassing to be so fixated on owning a house and wanted to take the whole burden on herself. I really love this woman. I know that her actions in the past have not been great, but even after that, I trust her to be kind. I think this perspective is not something I could have ever thought of. I come from a more privileged background, and even though my parents raised us to be independent, we always knew that if things got ugly, we had a safety net. She never had that, and I understand her need to create one. After we stopped crying and talking, we went through the budget and talked about areas where we could cut expenses. She really doesn't want to change jobs, so we are planning on her asking for a raise, and I think I will start looking for a new job. I am pretty indifferent about my workplace and I don't mind jumping ship to increase my salary. She is happy and would have disliked to move to another company. I have to really thank the people here for helping us talk this out. I am planning on bringing up counseling on a later date. We have a lingering issue on communication that we need to sort out. Well, OP, congratulations. Problem solved, and the best thing is that you guys solved it together. The whole situation was actually about the money, but it was about money being a means to an end. And I think that the solution that you guys came to is the best of everything. She doesn't get to leave her job, which she actually loves. You're okay with changing your environment and to get a pay raise, she's gonna ask for a raise and you guys are getting the house together. She's not taking the burden on herself. So I would mark that as another win for communication inside a relationship. Good for you, OP. And it's also a good thing that you acknowledge this issue on communication that you'd like to sort out with the help of counseling. So now I ask you guys, what is your opinion? And now let's move on to the next post. This post is from the subreddit Am I the A-hole? And it's posted by user AITA Cabin 3456. Am I the a-hole for losing it after finding out my wife let her sister and her boyfriend stay at my late wife's cabin? I lost my late wife to brain cancer. All her life she was living healthy and always loved spending time traveling and going on road trips. She was always an outdoor person, although she had a demanding career. She had a high-paying job while I was earning money that barely paid for bills. We were married for 5 years. We bought a cabin together that we used for holidays and weekends. After her passing, I couldn't set a foot in it for a whole year. Everything was the way she left it. I don't go there often, but only on big occasions when I need to feel closer to her. My family suggested I sell it, but I couldn't bring myself to do that. The idea of selling it makes me feel like I was losing her all over again, so I left it as it is. I married my now wife 6 months ago. I have 2 stepkids that are filling my days with joy and comfort. But lately, my in-laws have been having issues, specifically my sister-in-law. She lost her job and she and her boyfriend had nowhere to live. We've invited them to our place for 2 months, then my brother-in-law took them in. My wife, days ago, told me brother-in-law had an argument with his sister and kicked her and her boyfriend out. I asked when did that happen and she told me about 2 weeks ago. I then asked where her sister and her boyfriend are staying and she took her time to answer. I asked what's wrong and she flat out told me that her sister's been staying at my late wife's cabin for 2 weeks now. I was stunned when I heard and I asked her for more clarification. She said she gave her sister a copy of the key to the cabin to stay there till she finds a job, then proceeded to say she didn't tell me because it wasn't a huge deal. I couldn't help but lose my temper. I told her she had no right to hide this from me and let her sister into the cabin knowing how I'd feel about it. She said my reaction was exactly the reason why she hid it from me. I called her selfish and didn't consider it of my feelings, but she argued about wanting to help her younger sister and said I was the selfish one for not helping family during tough times. The kids walked into the kitchen, I just stopped arguing and walked out. My wife followed me and I demanded she call her sister and tell her to move out and hand over the key. My wife looked shocked, saying she expected me to react this way but not go as far as demand that her sister moves out and called me cruel for making her look bad to family. We kept arguing till her sister moved out and brought the key. My wife packed her things and went to stay with her parents. She told me that my late wife was obviously more important to me than my family and that she won't come home until I get my priorities straight. I haven't visited the cabin after her sister left. I haven't been feeling well these days and I'm not ready to go see how the place looks now. I just need time to calm myself down and be able to go there. My wife is at her parents' house and she took the kids with her. I miss the kids and she won't let me speak to them, which is another problem because my heart literally feels heavy when I'm away from them. I miss them so much and can't stand the house without them there. I might be wrong for blowing up at my wife when she was trying to help. She always says this cabin is ours since we're married and I might be wrong for being annoyed by that. Well, OP, to answer the question if you are the a-hole for losing your temper after finding out that your wife did this, no, you are not the a-hole. Your wife knew exactly what she was doing and how you would react, and she decided to hide it from you specifically for this reason. Sure, she was trying to help family, whatever. That doesn't justify what she did. That cabin isn't hers. She might say it's hers because you guys are married, but if her name isn't in the deed or the title, then it's not. Additionally to that, she tried to gaslight you because you were rightfully upset, and now she's using her kids to emotionally manipulate you. In my opinion, everything that she's doing is just all kinds of wrong. Now, as a side note, I have just one question for you. Could it be that you're still grieving your late wife and that you're not ready to be married again? Maybe you jumped into this relationship too quickly, or you pushed yourself into being in this relationship to get over it. But the thing is, grieving is different for everybody, and maybe you're just not over your late wife. But anyways, that's not the question that you asked. So let's move on with the community comments to see what they think about your situation. Dharma Initiative Rep says, "Is it too late for an annulment? Not the a-hole." And OP responds, "I don't know what to say. I'm hurt by what she did. I understand that she was feeling concerned for her sister and wanted to help her. She only visited the cabin twice and felt uneasy being there for some reason. She never let me take the kids and would tell me to go there alone. I never made her feel like I was putting her and the kids in second place. I'm aware of how she might feel, but I've never given her a reason to think that I don't love or care about her and the kids enough. I love the kids. I can't stay away from them even for a day, but there are days when I just need some space. I can't control how I feel sometimes. I just become overwhelmed whenever I remember holding my late wife in my arms in her last moments. There was nothing I wanted more than having her back healthy and happy at the time, but all that was gone. Therapy helped me a lot. I learned to deal with some issues that affected my life negatively, but I still have moments where I just need space, and I'm sure that everybody does. My current wife doesn't understand that what she did shook me despite her good intentions. I just couldn't help but feel hurt and violated." And what about Tease says, "She didn't tell you because she knew it was a big deal. Even if the cabin had nothing to do with your late wife, it's your cabin, so it's messed up that she let another person not use it, but live in it without asking you first." And La Mama Loca says, "Everybody sucks here. Your wife should have asked you and was intentionally deceptive to avoid a reaction. You don't seem to have done the grief work you need to do in order to actually have your new wife as your partner and priority." And there you go. The majority of the community feels that OP is not the a-hole, and that's the judgment they give. However, the last commenter I read does make a really good point as to why everybody sucks. So now it's that moment where I ask you guys, what's your opinion? What do you think about this? What would your judgment be? And what would you tell OP? And it's that time that we've reached the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed today's stories. I certainly did reading them to you. So if you did, then go ahead and give the video a like, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel and become a member of our Discord community that just keeps growing, and it is fantastic. The links are in the video description below, along with other links like my Twitch, where I also live stream Reddit stories live every Monday through Friday. And finally, I'd like to thank you all for taking the time to watch this video. It really does mean a lot to me that you guys enjoy this content, so thank you once again. And having said all that, I will see you guys in the next video.